You're listening to the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast, the podcast that keeps your practice sharp and your clients happy. I'm your host, immigration lawyer John Khosravi, and every week we're bringing you insights, tips, and real-world conversations with top immigration attorneys and industry leaders. Whether you're here to grow your practice, stay on top of the latest trends, or get inspired, you're in the right place. Ready? Let's go. Hello, fellow Toolboxers. Welcome to episode number 396 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast. It's a great interview to do with a colleague of ours, a good friend. I talk to him regularly, and it's probably going to be a regular monthly episode because he's just so full of knowledge with the experience he had practicing immigration law, both the law side and the practice side. It's with Gianfranco de Girolamo. Girolamo, it's Italian. And he's, again, attorney here in Southern California. I first met him once he left DOJ at a stint he had over there. We kind of get into it a little bit here, but it's a great person to know and contact, and he has a lot of information to share, and he's really open to sharing too. So I would definitely recommend checking out his LinkedIn page. It's in the show notes related to the show below or wherever you're watching it. I do want to also remind you that our friend and fellow colleague Roman Zelichenko has a special event in upstate New York. And he didn't ask me to do this, but I want to plug it. So if you're all into tennis, if you haven't followed his channel on LinkedIn already, I definitely recommend doing it. Roman Zelichenko. It's definitely worth going, especially if you're local. He always makes it really fun. If you haven't already, at the ALA conferences, he does these comedy shows that are really good. Colorado was a hit. And at the last time, what was it? In Chicago was a hit as well. So I definitely recommend doing that. So it's Immigration Attorneys Professional. Sign up for my second annual immigration tennis retreat in the beautiful Hudson Valley. September 7th to September 9th or September 10th. Tennis, 8 to 12-hour instructions plus 30-minute private and workshops on marketing and business coaching for lawyers, room, meals, lessons, business workshop, and amenities. Cost between $770 and $1070, depending on the room and length of stay. And where do you go to connect with them on this? Is there a landing page or something? Let's see. I'll find a landing page. Let's see. I'll put a landing page in the show notes or a link to this post he had. So you guys go contact. If you haven't already, you should be following him on LinkedIn. He's like one of the best LinkedIners. There's a lot of up and coming talent on LinkedIn too. That's Gianfranco, as we're talking about right here, is one. But there's a lot of good talent coming up. We'll talk more about them. I'll be interviewing a lot of, especially a couple of new ones that are doing really well. So that's happening. Now, the second thing I wanted to announce, or not announce, but just let you know, 2 episodes ago, 2 or 3, I did a breakdown side by side comparison. USCIS issued a policy manual update on I-130 and family petitions. And, they just usually in their policy manual updates, they have more specifics of like what the changes were. It was very generic. So I was very worried, like, what kind of crazy stuff are they going to say in there? So I went back to the Wayback Machine and I got the old version of it and I compared to the new one. And I did a screen by screen. I think it's like 17 minutes or so. It's episode number 394. This episode 96. We had one episode between. I had a top 10 that did this morning. Okay, so that was that. But definitely worth watching. It's nothing too groundbreaking. The only thing that's big is like the potential of issuing an NTA. But if you have like a standalone I-130 that doesn't have a option of adjustment, for example, or if you're out of status, essentially for I-601As, it's gonna be a major problem. That was the big thing. Other than that, but it's good to go to get really familiar. You got to know the Foreign Affairs Manual. You got to know the USA's policy manual. Every chance you get a time to a bit to read it, you should read it just to get more comfortable with it, because there's nuggets of stuff that pop out, and then having the ability to watch me talk about it and just give my 2 cents, it adds another perspective than your own. That's really helpful. So I definitely would do that. I had a citizenship case right now. We got an RFE at the interview where they're asking for evidence of relationship post filing. And from reading the policy manual, I know that the requirement for habitation evidence, as long as it's not divorce, is up to date of filing. So the RFE on itself is an incorrect RFE. I know that because I've read the policy manual so many times. I don't want to be offensive. A lot of you know it, but a lot of you don't for sure. Because there's stuff I don't know. Every time I read this, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Even in the recording, I think I read one thing and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. It was about past, like, proof of citizenship. It has to be like a non-expired passport. I wasn't sure if it could be non-expired. I always force my clients to update it. But there was 1 or 2 tidbits of stuff I didn't know. So I definitely recommend watching it. You got to always become better and better at what you practice. And that's what we're here for to do on this podcast. And then finally, the EB1A and the E2 courses are out. I've done really detailed recordings of actual case examples of what we did to prove EB1A cases, plus studying the law, the foreign affairs manual for the E2, and just regulations, and really prepares you to do these practice areas. It's at a bargain discount because each case you get, you make 5x of what the course is. So it's a no brainer to join as fast as possible. Get it. It comes with office hours to talk with me and brainstorm with me monthly, and just develop relationship, mentorship. That's what we're here for. So email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. Hopefully, I have a landing page ready for it soon, but info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. It's going to be posted. The courses are on our community page on circle.so. It's a premium course. You can join it for free to the community, which I recommend doing. Email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. But then you could purchase it there or email me and we could figure it all out. But I definitely recommend doing that and taking your practice to the next level. Having said all that, none of the information provided here is intended as individual legal guidance. Please consult with an attorney about your case, but you all know that already. Let's get it started. Hi, Gianfranco. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, John. Pleasure being here with you today.
So, we met in interesting times. It was the last Trump administration, and so I want to go into like how your history, of how you got into immigration law, because you kind of came at it at a different direction, and then talk about the stuff you're doing now. Obviously, your firm is like a lot of immigration lawyers may not know this because they don't track marketing, but you're one of the most famous immigration law firms, probably in the world at this point. So, let's start. How did you get involved in immigration law?
It's a great question. I went to law school, like many people, not knowing what to do, I suppose. During my first summer, my wife was working with a doctor, and then the doctor told her, this my daughter does immigration. She's very successful. I was like, well, I mean, I'm an immigrant, so I was looking for an internship, and I say, let's try this. And I tried that and I liked it. But then, during law school, I did other things, criminal law, civil litigation. But for some reason, I continued gravitating to immigration. I applied while I was in law school for the DOJ honors program to work at the immigration court as an attorney advisor. I was selected and I did that for almost a year. And then I opened my firm and I stuck to immigration ever since.
We'll
So
briefly discuss that. And the way we got to know each other is you left under the first Trump administration.
that's
Has
right.
just put it lightly, it's not something you want to continue working on. And you had an op-ed published. Did you ever? I never asked you this before, but did you ever receive pushback for openly like leaving the DOJ like that?
Um, I was kind of like told that I would be burning a bridge, and that I asked basically, it stayed in my file, so I probably persona non grata if I want to go back to the DOJ.
I
But
hear you.
I was okay with it. I'm still okay with it. I will do it again.
Good stuff. So you left there, and then you were kind of just figuring out what to do at that point, which is how we met. I remember I read the article. I contacted you. I think we may have seen each other at an ALA event, Southern California ALA event, or something like that. And then you want to start your own firm, but what happened that you partnered up with your current partner?
I started my own firm, doing mostly detention work until it ground to a halt, during COVID. And I became friends with my current business partner, Julio Yanarte, when I was, sorry, studying at UCLA. He was doing an LLM, and I was doing my JD program. And after a few years, he mentioned, maybe he was interested in getting into the same field because coincidentally, we actually met in the immigration law class the
Oh,
first
nice.
week. I think it was one of his first classes.
Oh, that's neat.
And then I was like, sure, let's give it a try. And the rest is history. We formed this law firm about almost 6 years ago. And then we opened other businesses around it.
So let's kind of get into that. So you started a law firm, and your marketing has been impeccable. It's like on YouTube, probably the number one YouTube English and Spanish page at this point.
English, I'm not sure. Spanish, yes.
Okay.
Spanish, yeah, we have about almost 700,000 followers.
Dang. And then how many people are on English YouTube?
180, I believe.
I see. So you're on your way to get like the 1 million plaque, or have you got any plaques from YouTube yet for number of subscribers?
Yes, they're here, but you probably can see them.
Let me make
One
the
in
image.
English and one in Spanish. There you go.
Oh, very cool.
English and Spanish.
and then obviously TikTok was a big boost. Coincidentally, one thing that's happened, I realized on my TikToks, my views went down dramatically. But if I post the same video to YouTube, it's like quadruple the amount of views I get, which is better because I prefer YouTube views than TikTok views. But that's been about 2 months like that.
Yeah, it's been happening, like TikTok. We have some formulas, like that uh, used if we want to go viral, we know like what usually the algorithm likes to see, so we can restart that. But what we've seen recently, the ones that are working the most have been news. So if you do news, usually, they don't last long, of course, as you know, but you can get a lot of views during those days. But the thematic ones, like, 5 ways to get a green card or those kind of videos are not tracking as much on TikTok now. But they always change the algorithm. So
Yeah.
one of the reasons why it's difficult to stay relevant on social media is that you need to continuously experiment and change and adapt, and it's really kind of like a job.
Yeah, it's a full-time job just try to keep track of all the things and study it and all that. So, oh, you guys hit it big definitely on TikTok and then YouTube and Instagram, assuming as well. I haven't checked out your Instagram pages. That one is, I'm assuming the numbers are high
Yeah,
too.
we over 1 million followers on both, and
Wow.
also both Spanish and English. And Facebook, we have about 2 million followers in Spanish.
I,
And
I
yeah,
want to get into which one gets you the most cases and which kind of cases, but then it opens up to like your main firm. What kind of case you do? Because you branched off of a second firm as well. So I want you to talk about. I think you have to separately do asylum as well, but in a second
that's
firm. Is
right.
that correct?
That's correct.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
go ahead.
from all channels, we get consultations of about anything. So those, you know, I wouldn't say that one is better than the other. The one that we get most volume from is TikTok, where we get because of the number of followers. I think it's over 6 million now, 6.3 million, I think, in Spanish
Wow.
and over two in English. So so that's where we get the most volume, and also the most uh, cases, again, volume wise. But Instagram, it's usually the one that the ratio, it's like you don't get as many viewers, but they're usually higher quality viewers.
Yeah.
And of course, long term, there are some videos, YouTube, John, like some videos, even if they are a few years old, if they're valuable, YouTube keeps showing them. And YouTube is kind of like a nurturing channel. It's not really great. I mean, they try with shorts, but it's not really, the short video platform is more like still for long form. But over there, I guess you get fidelization and people will be following you for longer and they look for more information. So
Yeah.
you get more probably serious leads. But there are also two kind of leads, I would say in general, in immigration at least, because we also do removal defense. So there's people who need someone urgently. So maybe if they see you and they like what they see, they contact you right away. Or people who've been following you for a while and they like what you're doing and they're planning more. And then when they feel ready, they contact. And I think that's probably more YouTube, where you can kind of like with the lives that are recorded. Same thing with Instagram. That's one of the problems with TikTok. The lives are not really recorded,
Hmm.
and lots of people kind of like watch the lives as entertainment. We get people saying, "Look, I'm in such and such country. I don't plan on going to the US. I just find these, entertaining and I'm watching it. It's kind of
Yeah.
like it becomes their daily habit." So I would say all of them, but at different stages. So that's why like having an omni channel or an omni social media strategy pays dividends, because you can find them at the stage of their case, wherever they are.
Do you guys get into Pinterest at all?
I think we tried. I think we probably opened an account, but we haven't posted much static pictures.
Yeah, there's some marketing person say Pinterest is the best. And I it just not working out. Maybe I need an expert on it, but it wasn't working out as easy as the rest of them kind of happened. Easy is a relative term because there's still a lot of work to do to get these
We
things
are on
working.
Pinterest, I think, for SEO, but not for content. But we are LinkedIn and um, some other. There's another one that's not in the US, but it's in Latin America.
Mm.
Another Chinese network, similar to TikTok. Um, We tried also, the gaming platform. We are on that one, but we never went over 1,500 followers.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
LinkedIn is happening. They're really upping their stuff there. We're gonna have an interview with I think Jimmy Lai is a colleague of ours who's going hard recently on LinkedIn. Bob Weber is really big. I noticed you are posting much more. That thing seems like a untapped gold mine of viewers because people kind of put that on the side. But I think there's so many options here, and I put them off so much. By the time I get to it, the algorithm changes, not as good. But it's why you just gotta do it and not be busy. Just make that a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of our models is done is better than perfect at the end of the day, John.
Yeah.
Because if you look for to do the perfect video, probably you're never gonna post it because you're never gonna feel confident enough. And also the second thing is not really about you. Like you're just doing that to see what works, and if it can benefit someone, then great. Like I think we overthink things too much
Yeah.
sometimes, and I think sometimes just action is better than um, paralysis by analysis.
Yeah. Now, like, because you do get so many leads, you've had to develop systems to do that. And then, secondarily, what caused you to want to separate the firms out for the different kind of operations? But how did it go from when you started getting the inundation of leads to figure out how to even manage all these leads?
Oh, we tried everything. So we were doing spreadsheets at first, and then everybody on the team doing intake, but that wasn't very efficient, because some people are like, I really don't feel comfortable doing that. But when you start exploding and then you get a lot of leads, you try everything that you can because you're usually, understaffed or you're not ready for that. And in social media, it can happen overnight. So, so what we found, like we started putting, as you know, in immigration there is a lot of information seeking, right? And you can offer free consultations if you want, or you can offer a paid consultation. So one of the first gates that you can put is charging for a consultation because initially, before we exploded, we were also doing some ads and testing things, but we were getting mostly consultations that weren't going anywhere and they were free consultations. And so, like, when you have volume, I think you have, fortunately, also the benefit of screening more. And so we start creating better questionnaires, asking more questions. So, like, it creates some sort of friction, which is not ideal for the client, but at the same time, it also pre-qualifies them. So you talk to people who
Yeah.
actually went through the process and are interested. And then, as the volume grew, we created, a specific intake department with different roles. So we have people who actually review the questionnaires and see if it's worth it. They can have a pre-screening session with one of our teams. We gather all the information, and then we can offer them a consultation with an attorney to see, if it's worthwhile. It may be free depending on the type of case, or it may be paid. If they want to book a paid consultation on their own just for information, they can do that. So we have different links that basically they are like funnels, like they screen the individuals just to whatever need they have. And we try different services to see, let's try free consultations for this one with multiple questions and so on until you find the formula that works for you and you continue refining it.
So you've been able to find working formats for free consultations that show up, and you just have to like have a lot of friction to get the perfect person ahead of time. So they're paying for it in time by um, spending time to
Yeah.
actually fill out your
For
stuff.
instance, our uh, asylum firm, it's free consultations, but they need to fill out a form that's um, extremely lengthy. So we can see first of all if they have a case or not, based on what they answer.
Hmm.
Then, if they are interested, they can go and book a free Calendly screening with one of our intake team. If they show up, then so like showing up, for instance, is a test. These are all mini tests.
Yeah,
I mean, clients test you, but you test them as
for
well
sure.
because you want to see if they're a fit for what you want to do. And then if they pass the screening, then if it's not clear, the intake team can ask the attorneys, what do we think about this? If it's clear and it meets the criteria, then they go to the final step, which is a call with an attorney, which is essentially clarifying call, but also a sales call, to see if they're interested. And like one of the questions in the in the screening, in the first questionnaire, it's more or less the range of our fees. So if they're not interested in that, there's no point in continuing talking. They can book a paid consultation if they want to talk.
Interesting. Okay, so you're upfront. So you transparent about the estimate of the fees is going to be, so they know ahead of time. That's good.
Yeah, so because before we weren't doing that, but we found that doing that actually, we were doing a lot of consultations that they would say yes because people lie, and then to get a consultation, but then when they couldn't actually do that, so now they can still lie, but there is more social pressure in telling the
Yeah.
truth. You told us this, and stuff like that.
Hey, everybody, I want to jump in really quick to give a quick announcement. You've heard this before, but you need to hear it again. The folks at eImmigration shared a big announcement, hot off the presses. Have you heard eImmigration is now integrated with VisaLaw.ai? Over 10,000 users can now connect their eImmigration accounts to VisaLaw.ai, allowing them to generate expert letters, court documents, petition briefs, and entire case packets directly within their case management system. Its case management meets modern drafting so you can build stronger cases faster than ever. The combination of e-immigration and VisaLaw.ai means what used to take hours can now be done in minutes. Just think how much faster your immigration workflows can be. Learn more at get.eimmigration.com/VisaLawAI. Again, that's get.eimmigration.com/VisaLawAI. Now back to the show. I always debated
So
like for marriage green card cases, I put the price out, sometimes not. It's because I like people to talk with me to get to know what value they're getting, not to just think of me as a number and compare that. But at the same time, people want to know the price. So recently, we do this off and on: is have a paralegal become intake specialist. Say, listen, if you want a general estimate, talk with him 15 minutes, and that way they could get to know him at least on the team and have a more come more human rather than just a number they can compare with. Um, but so you guys got enough asylum cases where you spun that off, made to a separate firm just as asylum. What does your main firm do?
the reason for that is that we wanted to wind down our removal defense practice because we didn't want to do that anymore, and um, and then our firm does everything else. Basically, does family, um, humanitarian.
Okay, you do almost full
Yes,
service.
humanitarian, but because the wait times are becoming crazy on
Yeah,
a lot of those applications. um, Employment, investment. So it's almost full service. We don't do federal litigation. Only only petitions for reviews. But I consider those more like removal defense
I hear you.
rather than habeas or mandamus or stuff like that.
So through this process, because we talk regularly, we've learned like a lot of different things about different things. So there's marketing, there's systems for tech, there's systems for office, and you've talked with me about it and give me advice and stuff. AI things that are happening. There's so much stuff we get to. That's why I like to have you on program. We'll just pick different topics. So there's just a wealth of information that you can share on this kind of stuff. Let's just start with this. What's the most recent one you've been diving into? Is it AI or something else?
AI, I'm in love with Notebook LM. I don't know if you used it, but it's by Google. So if you use Google Workspace, yeah, you got Gemini, which is their LLM, but you also can use Notebook LM, which is kind of like an assistant, literally. So you can give it a file, for instance, or information, and then tell it to find you the weakest and strongest arguments. You can create a podcast out of that. You can create a timeline. You can create a study guide. So it's amazing, to
Yeah,
be
I
honest.
used it for putting like AEO cases in there and listening to it, and it's surprisingly really good. I put like upload 3 cases, and it'll tell.
I was surprised too.
Yeah, I was like, listen, I actually created a third podcast. I have like my law firm podcast. I have this one Toolbox, and I created a third one where I just feed AEO decisions and just pump that in.
When are you gonna stop, John?
What's that?
When are you gonna stop? You're
I
making too
don't
many
know. Like
podcasts.
I put it down because I'm like, it's too much. But then
I'm kidding. That's
I had a
awesome.
hard time, like, I had to add like a disclaimer to it that this is this, and it came so much editing where I'm like, you know what? And plus, they might have changed it now, but a Notebook LM is the same voices. But I'm like, if people hear this, they'll
Yeah,
realize that. But most people don't know what it is, so it's still pretty fresh. And so I'm like, it's probably better to be my voice. So I went back
but
to doing AEO analysis and podcasts of my own. But that's an easy way for someone to create a podcast and I'd have their voice on it. Just pump it
but
into the
it can
destination.
also be for your own, benefit. Like, I want to listen to it because I learn better. Yeah, fine. Maybe if you have a commute, you can listen to it, or if you
Hmm.
go for a walk, you can listen to it and still learn what you want to learn. question for you, like, did you just use a simple prompt or a complex? Because
Simple.
I
I
just
just yeah, just
same. I just uploaded it and say like, do this before because I wanted to see what it can do on its own,
yeah.
and just what it does on its own, it's pretty great.
I mean, like, if I had more time, I would just pump stuff in there and have it give the podcast. They banter really well. It's like a female male voice, and they talk, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
interesting. It's really good. It's
it is
unbelievable.
really good. I was shocked too, and then I showed it to my employees, and some of them are not very tech savvy or tech enthusiasts like you and I are, I suppose. And they were speechless. They couldn't believe that he was doing that. But and this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
So um, I don't think it's necessarily coming for our jobs, but I think not leveraging it can put at a disadvantage.
Yeah, there's chunks of stuff. The law stuff. It still has errors on ChatGPT when I do it, but it's still sometimes it helps out when I like writing something. Or I need thoughts, or I need citation sources, or just like a second opinion, and I talk with it. It's groundbreaking. I sometimes wish I was like 15, 16 when I had a bunch of time and when I was a kid, and I could just spend all day playing with it. But at the same time, I
Same.
didn't have the knowledge I have now to be able to know what to ask. But it's something I really should just take a month off and spend 8 hours a day every day. If I do that for a month, I think I could make, I mean, should be able to make like $1 billion company because it's like, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I feel like there's an endless amount of technology I get out of this. You just got to spend a lot of time with it and keep hitting it and getting into it until you pull it out what you're looking for.
100%. What I try to do, and I'm not perfect at all in that, is trying to incorporate it in your daily schedule. Like,
Yeah.
one day, I don't know, an hour, 30 minutes, you do that. Um, it's not about the tool, it's about becoming proficient and making a habit out of that. And that's hard.
Yeah. We just got my oldest kid the first skateboard, and I when I was a kid, I tried skateboarding. I kept falling off. I didn't like it, and so I could barely ride a skateboard. But then there's people who practice so much they do like loop de loops and fly and do. It's like one of those like we could use it basically, but if you really use it, you could do all the crazy skateboarder kind of techniques, or they go half pipes and do this insane kind of stuff, which I would break my neck if I did. But you just got to spend a lot of time practicing it all the time, and you kind of don't know what you're looking for either. Just keep doing it until you get some sort of lead and keep pulling on it until you found interesting stuff. Eventually, I guess other people are going to do that. That's why I kind of keep my eye on who's doing on AI. So instead of spending all this time myself, you kind of just take what people offer and build on it. But that'd be the thing to do if you're a new immigration lawyer and you don't have many cases yet. I would spend as much time as possible just messing around with AI on every aspect.
Agreed.
And then so another aspect is uh, when it comes to just operating an office, how many attorneys are you guys at this point?
In one firm, it's four of us, and in another firm, it's 10 of us.
Wow, wow, 10
So
attorneys.
yeah,
Oh wow, so that's a huge in immigration law. For me, anything more than one is huge. So I don't know if that's the best, but like an immigration law, that's like a mid-sized firm at this point, isn't it?
yeah, it's 10, and then with staff and everything, we are close to 70.
So
So
you have your own HR department and stuff.
yeah, yes, we do.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
a
we had to create one, um, you know, to cater to the employees' needs and to make sure that for organization as well.
mhm.
So yeah, it's interesting challenge, unexpected, but uh, one that forces you to be resourceful and come up with solutions every day.
When your firm
Uh,
does grow that fast and dramatically, is it one of those things where you kind of like, because I get overwhelmed. So to me, I'd be like, oh my God. But do you essentially you're working all day at night, not sleeping because you're like, you have to kind of tame this wild horse that's in front of you? Or is that what happened?
um, at first, I suppose, but the only way you can do this is if you get comfortable with delegating. If you don't, then you will constantly feel like that, and you will become the bottleneck.
Yeah.
So, what I sense, working with other people is that, you grow up usually to your level of comfort or how much discomfort you can tolerate. So, you need to let go of a lot of things if you want to grow like that because you won't be able to be in everywhere. And my usual tendency was to be in everywhere, but then I realized, like if I do that, then I'm only going to grow so much. Do I want to grow more, or do I want to stay, this size and control more? And um, we opted for the first one, and you just need to make sure that you put people who are capable and that you trust, and empower them and allow them to grow so you can grow as well, and you can focus on what you do best, because at the end of the day, you're not probably the best at everything, although we like to think that sometimes. um, you're gonna lose some, personal touch, but what you try to do is trying to recreate the culture and then teaching them, to be an extension of what you want to create for your clients. So it's not perfect, but it's doable. So definitely there was overwhelm. There still is sometimes, but most nights I can sleep, so that's fine.
Wonderful. That quote is really good. I mean, I've heard before, but I just it really hit the spot for right now. You could grow to a level of discomfort that you can tolerate, and that's the truth. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Last thing I want to talk about is you started a program now. I mean, you have several different programs for potential immigrants coming here because you have so many people contacting you guys. But there's a new specific program you started. Is that intended for immigration lawyers or lawyers in general?
that's for lawyers in general. We are launching a program, which eventually we are planning for that to be a mastermind to basically share what we learned, some of what we discuss here with you, John, how to start from starting your marketing channels, on social media, and then the unspoken, reality of what to do if this stuff goes well. Then you need to assist them how to establish them, how to have basically follow a blueprint that allows you to grow in an organized way without too much chaos.
Hmm.
There's always going to be some chaos. That's the fun part also of having a business. It's not for everyone, but if you are in it, I congratulate you because made one of the you embark in one of the hardest endeavors that you can take in life. My opinion. You must be a little crazy to open a business. I always think
Yeah,
that.
what I found is a lot of people who quit their job do it is just so frustrated with as you were in your situation, as I was in my situation, frustrated with things not happening the way you want it, or it gets to a point where like I'd rather not make money for a couple months and then see what happens, and then continue
Yeah,
doing the same thing.
yeah, totally. But you also must have, like some sort of self confidence. It's an interesting mix. I agree with you that people start this for different reasons, but you have to be, unless you have backing and you don't take any risk, you need to be a little reckless,
Yeah, you have to
and
wear a
that's
lot of
fine.
hats. What I found is some people are struggling on their own, and I'm like, well, you got to do this marketing, do that. It's just they don't get out of their shell a lot of times. I'm like, you got to figure out, go do live events, go talk with people, do YouTube, just do something so people know you exist. And I see they just kind of stay in their shell, and it doesn't let them grow. I'm like, even market with other, go to ALA conferences, talk to people, or do Facebook posts, talk on Facebook Live. There's
100%.
just like infinite now ways to do it. Just stick with one and repeat, repeat, repeat until at this point, like in my face. Every immigration lawyer see my face just because I keep shoving my face into my image. So it leads to a lot of referrals on its own just because of the immigration lawyers sending me stuff. If you wanted to
Yeah.
learn about that program, is there a wait list right now or a website that you can go to?
Yeah, there's a wait list. It's called, they can go nextlevellawyer.com, um, and they can sign up for the wait list. We're gonna be launching in September, most likely. So we are just getting more information to make the program as great as possible, so everybody can benefit from it.
Very cool. I'll put the website in the show notes. It's nextlevellawyer.com. And I would say start following you on LinkedIn. I'll put your LinkedIn ID there as well. Because I've seen what happened with me is I was watching way too much TikTok, so I just took it off my phone. And my finger still used to go to that place where TikTok was. So I put LinkedIn in that place. So I'm constantly on
That
LinkedIn
happened
now.
to me. That happened to me for a while. I removed it too, and for a couple of weeks, I would still go. You know what I did too? I put those like 15 minutes per day, and then do you want to override it?
Yeah,
Always. I always
exactly.
wrote.
I was good at it for a
Override
month or two. Then it's over. I was like 6 hours by the end of it. It's like worthless
Then
anymore.
I deleted it, but then I downloaded it again. But now I'm actually not using that. But you know what happened to me? Now I'm on Facebook. I don't know why. I just go on the reels on Facebook
That's why I
and
stopped
LinkedIn.
that. I took Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, put on my second phone, and that one I don't always have on me, so I kind of lost track of it because I use that for recording on it and stuff like that. But yeah, just get a second phone and have those there, so you have access and you can check like what your team's posting. Sometimes I'll see they post stuff incorrectly.
Yeah.
I need to check it, and just see myself if it makes sense what I'm saying. But yeah, I just kept YouTube and LinkedIn on my phone, and I don't go to YouTube Shorts for some reason. It's like I don't, it doesn't get to it. So
Same.
yeah,
For some reason, they don't attract me at all.
yeah, it's weird how it works. Like Instagram too. I'm sure you see this sometimes. Like back when I was watching TikTok a lot, somehow I go on Instagram and I'm like, dude, these videos don't make any sense. I don't like why. And then I'm like, oh, it's Instagram. I didn't realize it. It's just, I did,
But that's the algorithm. Did you see how powerful the algorithm from TikTok is? They're really that's why it's so successful.
it's
Like they
amazing.
do
Yeah.
something right.
They should be able to
Yeah.
make. I mean, I think Instagram intentionally wants to keep certain things coming up or something. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of talking out of lack of knowledge, but I mean, they should be able to mimic what TikTok does to a certain extent, giving people what they want to hear. They have the same data of people watching it. Is there like a reason where they want to promote certain things over other things, or I don't know?
That's a great idea. The real expert on social media is Julio, my business partner. Uh, he probably would have an answer for that because that's what he does obsessively, studying these things. I don't know. I think I have the same feelings though that you say. Like Instagram is constantly experimenting, whereas TikTok kind of like keeps on building and exploiting its algorithm.
Hmm.
That's what I seem to see, and they're really good at keeping you on the platform.
Yeah.
And I think there was some study that says, it takes them about 30 minutes to make you addicted to
It's
yeah.
pretty good, but yeah, I barely watch it now because I switched the phone, which is interesting. I didn't think I was gonna go cold turkey that easily. I thought I was just gonna keep getting the second phone, but kind of just lost track of it that easily.
Yeah. No, I mean, I probably had to do the same. Gonna follow your example.
Well, there's more stuff to talk about, but one is I'll have you back on the show because I actually have like lists of stuff. I forgot. I have a notion. I have a list of like business topics I want to talk with you about, but I completely forgot. It's our first episode together, so much stuff. But also, I love to have Julio on as well separately, so I'll contact him and let him know. But Gianfranco, much appreciated you coming on the show. Stick around for a minute or two after we end it. But if people want to reach out to you and connect with you, what's the best way they can do that?
My LinkedIn is the best way.
LinkedIn. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again for on the show. I hope to have you on soon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, John. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Giancarlo is, I can say Giancarlo, it's Gianfranco. I think Giancarlo is a more popular Italian name, and there's been soccer players that I call him Giancarlo many times in the past. It's Gianfranco. I call him GC. A lot of people call him GC, so I might stick with that. But anyways, so he's wealth of knowledge and is just starting. So I'm going to have him on again because we talk regularly, and he fills me in on what's going on in this firm and AI and business management and marketing. Him and his partner. I'm going to definitely have his partner on. I mean, really, he's like hitting home runs when it comes to the marketing and the amount of leads they get. It's overwhelming. So God bless him and congrats on the success and the kindness of him sharing that is a really special thing. And out of my kindness, I like to share my information too. So if you want to get the EB18 course, learn about marriage, immigration, consular processing, adjustment, we have the courses for you. We're here to elevate the immigration practice, studying it hard from the regulations, from the statute, with mentorship, which is really hard to get. You have Facebook group stuff, you can ask questions, but no one has skin in the game. And I'm teaching the way I learned it, which I work for somebody who I've been doing it for 30 years, and he brought me under his wing and taught me how to do it. As someone asked questions for, so I created a course that resembles that for people all across the country and the world that are U.S. immigration lawyers only. It's not intended for non-immigration lawyers or non-lawyers to get you where you need to go. So email me info@immigration lawyers toolbox. Get started if you want a specific program. E2, EB1A, O1. Marriage immigration, family immigration. Let me know. We'll have a discussion to see how it fits you and how it can serve you to better promote yourself and become a better practitioner. Having said all that, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. If you like this episode, follow us on Instagram. Our handle is Immigration Lawyers Toolbox, where we post the latest statistics, tips, and more. And stay tuned for more from the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast.